Again, everybody. Guess this be part 2, maybe? Rear disc brakes? Anyways, bleeding brakes. Bleeding brakes by yourself. Can it be done? Can we bleed brakes by ourselves? I think it's very possible. I have a thing here that I've used for years and years and years, and you're going to laugh at me, but this is a stick that I've had. It's been around this shop since I've been here, and it's an old broom handle. Broken off at a possibly accidental strategic place. That's going to be a really handy tool. Right now I've got all the calipers bolted on, and I have the bleeders. One side I've already gravity bled. This side here I was letting it. So you're going to open up the bleeder screw, and the master cylinder being up higher than the slave cylinder or the caliper, it allows it to gravity bleed. You can see there where we've got fluid coming. So that helps us out a lot. Sometimes that doesn't always work. I've had brake systems that didn't want to gravity bleed. And when I run into that, I'll rather show you in a video than try to explain it to you, because I could talk blue in the face, but I would rather show you. So when that time comes, I will. But this one's gravity bled. We're good to go. Of course, you always want to maintain proper fluid level in your master cylinder, wherever it's at. I need to flip the camera around. Okay, so let me flip the camera around so this will be a little easier. All right, so it's a good idea to go ahead and get the vehicle started. We'll do that. Let me see here. We'll have our stick handy. I'll show you how this works. I don't know if anybody's already done this. Okay, good. But there may be people out who don't. So I'm gonna kind of. I know it's a dirty vehicle. It's some of the stuff I have to work on, guys. You think that they bring stuff to the shop, they would clean it out. Ralph. Maybe he'll see this video. Ralph. We love Ralph though. He's a good friend of mine. Anyways, so when the pedal goes down, I'm going to try to jam this into the front of the seat, and that's going to leave brake pressure so I can run around and open the bleeder screw. So let's get her started up here. Get her. Let's see here. We're going to have to charge the battery, folks. Be right back. Okay, so while the battery's charging, that's just an old battery I stuck in there so I can crank it. I've got a new one that'll be in here, so that one I know it does that. But let me just give you a little clue too. If you're going to bleed brakes with the wheels off, the brake caliper is going to want to try to push out on this brake disc here from the back. So I make it a habit to put a bolt here with a little stud so that I can, which is the lug nut actually, and just a spacer so I don't bottom this out and pop the end of this cap out. And that holds the brake disc on. And then also while I'm working on the brakes, they're not flopping. That disc isn't flopping everywhere. I know there's probably people in the back screaming, why didn't you put new rotors on it? Because this is an old Isuzu, it's a Dukio thing, and we're just trying to get it running. And so, yeah, it's good Dookie, good Dookie. But let's see if this thing's going to hit right quick here. Then we'll get the bleeding on some brakes here. 328,000 miles, and the transmission finally did quit after hard use. Let's see, I'm gonna turn on the all right. So, okay. I have to move the seat back a little bit, I can tell. I'm just pushing this down with my hand right now. There. All right, you see how I've got that kind of stuck in the seat? And you always want to go to your furthest wheel. All right. You want to go back and check your reservoir to make sure it's staying full. Yeah, we'll go ahead and add a little bit of brake fluid in there. And when you're bleeding brakes, I don't want us to be able to hear me over this motor. When you're bleeding brakes, you always want to put that cap back on, because when you pump the master cylinder, it can throw the fluid out of it. So when you're bleeding brakes, it's always a good idea to keep that cap on that thing. Let me get my wrench from over here. You hear the horn honk? That was a neighbor holler. Yeah, neighbor holler. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah. Look at that right there. Lots of air. By the way, brake fluid has a really well-known tendency to actually draw up moisture. So if you have a system that's not sealed off properly, or brake fluid that's sat for a real long time, there's a good chance there's going to be a little bit of moisture in it. And I'm just jamming that piece into the seat there. And you can make a better tool if you want to. And there's probably still enough I can go and hit the other side one more time. A little something came out right there. Let's do that one more time. We'll check the reservoir again. If you do this enough, you will get the air out of it. So I do this all the time out here, and this is my out by myself. Yeah. We'll hit that one more time on the other side. Done this enough where we've got some new brake fluid starting to shine. Getting some of the old out. Get my stick jammed in there. Had a little bit of air that time. I think we're gonna be all right. Let's see how that pedal feels. A lot less travel there, but we will go one more time on the east side, just because that fluid it ain't gonna hurt a bit to cycle some of that old fluid out. And you'll notice that these e-brakes aren't hooked up because this thing is so rusty and old that the e-brake cables are rusted to where they don't, if you pull the e-brake, you'll never get it to release. So, yeah. Oh yeah, we're good to go, y'all. All right, thank you. That's Bleeding Brakes by ourselves. Thank you for joining in the We'll Fix It team.